What's up? We got The Flash, Season 3, Episode 9, The Present. So this episode starts off with, 4 years ago, where we see Julian in India, where he's writing about how he hasn't found what he's looking for yet. But then some random research lady comes in and is like, "Hey Julian, we found it." So then Julian opens it up. They're like, "Hey, maybe we should wait." But Julian's like, "Nah, we should, we have to see if it's the real thing." He opens it, blue light comes up, Julian yells, and then title card. You don't say title card, but sorry, probably bugs here, but yeah. But anyway, so then we go to the present where they're like, "Hey, we know who wrote the thesis on the stone, on a stone that gives people powers. It's Julian." So Barry goes to Julian, and Julian's like, "Hey, Mr. Allen, remember I told you keep your Frosty, I keep Caitlin secret, and you wouldn't darken these halls with your presence ever again." Oh, Julian, crap you. So, yeah. But anyway, we see, so yeah, Barry's like, "Hey, you wrote this stone?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, 4 years ago, he used his parents' inheritance money to use it to go on an expedition. But he lies to Barry, saying that they found nothing. So he's like, "Yeah, is that all you need, Mr. Allen?" And he's like, "Yeah." So to get more information on Savitar, Barry goes to Earth 3, where we see Jay Garrick fighting Earth 3's his trickster, played by the great and legendary Mark Hamill. And it seems like Mark Hamill is really bringing the Joker into this version of the trickster. And this is the last time we see Mark Hamill as the trickster, because he never appears on the show again after this appearance. But what way to go out? He's like, "Hey, trickster, you're out of ammo." And he's like, "I'm not out of bombs." And yeah, but that's when Barry flashes in, arresting him, and he's like, "Ah ha 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 ha." And he's like, "Two flashes, I'm seeing double. I will use one day I'll get your helmet, saucerhead, and I'll use it as a patron. No, as something else." And then he gets dragged off to prison. And he's like, "Yeah, I totally had that." And he's like, "Yeah, that's my line." And he's like, "You didn't just come all the way to Earth 3 to defeat my trickster." And he's like, "No, I came here to help you. I came here to learn more about Savitar." And they speak, and he's like, "You've heard about Savitar?" And he's like, "Yeah, Savitar is the first meta ever granted speed." And he seems like Savitar was a myth, but now he's real. So Savitar basically prepares a processor like alchemy to prepare for his arrival. So we see HR and Wally training because of the last Flash episode, where he said he trained him, and he's like, "In this point in your training, you're faster than Barry. You're faster than Barry. He's faster than Barry." And Wally's like, "Yeah, we should tell anyone." He's like, "Not good idea." He's like, "Wally, you should know, you never trifle with the West household." Yeah, I guess he's faster than Barry now. So yeah, and Cisco starts seeing his dead brother, Dante. So yeah, so Savitar's like, "Ooh, Alchemy's like, "Ooh, I will get every May that lost their powers in Flashpoint." But then Savitar shows up, and And he's like, hey, you deal with Alchemy, I'll deal with Savitar. And then we see Savitar wailing Garrick with some bad CGI. He just wail, and he's like, this isn't your fight, Garrick. And Barry punches Alchemy, making Savitar disappear, and he reveals to him that it's Julian. And he's like, Julian? And basically when he tries to tell Julian this, Julian's like, he's like, hey, you're Alchemy. You've been giving people these powers, worshipping this Savitar. And he's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't believe you're accusing me, the Flash, of all heroes, accusing me of... He's like, where's my phone call? And he's like... Yeah, so then Cisco's brother shows up, and he's like, yeah, so basically Barry reveals himself to Julian, and he's like, I should have guessed it, I should have guessed, you're the Flash, you're the Flash, Barry, I should have guessed it, your unexplained your unregard for the rules and regulations, your unexplained absences, your passion for metas. And he's like, now that you know my secret, tell me how you became Julian Alchemy. Julian, how did you become Alchemy? And he's basically like, his sister died when he was 20. It basically destroyed his family. And one day he just saw her out of the blue, and she told him to get the Philosopher's Stone. So he mounted an expedition to India, and they found it. But then when he opened up, next thing he knew, he's in a hotel room, and then he learned that all of his team members were murdered. So he thought that they would blame him for the murders. So he moved all the way to America. Wow, very good. So he's like, so while he basically reveals to them that HR has been training him. And he's like, what's wrong with you? Why do you have a passion? Do you have a passion to help you with it? And while he thought, stop banging on HR. Stop banging on HR. He wanted to help him. He told him to help him because no one else was gonna do it. So yeah. So Cisco, he's like, I'm not gonna lose my brother. And she's like, I'm sorry, Dante's gone, but you have to close the box. If you don't, Barry and Wally will die. So he basically does it, which turns Savitar away. So they're like, so they're basically like, why can't we just bury the Philosopher's Stone? They're like, yeah, Jumanji, if we do that, someone will just dig it up again, and we be back at square one. So he's like, just like Jumanji. And he's like, then why don't we just throw it in the Speed Force? So they do it. He throws it in the Speed Force, but Barry gets thrown back, where he sees himself, Savitar, and Iris, and Savitar kills Iris. And Barry's like, no, I'm not. Obviously, this is gonna happen because you can't just lose Laurel and then lose Iris the exact same year or the same month. We cannot do that. They cannot do this to me. You cannot just kill Laurel and then just kill Iris the next year. How could you do that? Do you just like killing off your characters? Obviously, Iris is gonna die. So now Barry's like, what did I just see? I just saw Iris kill. And he's like, we just defeated Savitar. Why was Savitar even there? We used to defeat Savitar. And he's like, that's one of the possible futures. So basically, they go to a Christmas party where no surprises are here in this one. They give Wally his Kid Flash suit. Somehow they made it, and they're like, welcome to the team, Kid Flash. He's like, really? Is that my name? And he's like, yeah, that's your name. And he's like, Kid Flash. He's a kid. He's a Kid Flash. So anyway, that was the episode. It was a really good episode. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Wonder Jay's gonna come back. So Barry just saw a future where Iris potentially dies. That's gonna probably haunt him for the rest of his life. Seeing a potential where the wife Barry also takes Iris to a new house, and he's like, "Where are we?" And he's like, "Home." So that means Barry's trying to save Iris by basically moving them into a new apartment. So yeah. But that was it for this video, and I'll see you next time for more of The Flash. So, well.